The Secret Pain of Miracle. Miracle was just 18 years old, a young secondary school boy full of strength and energy. His skin was dark like polished ebony, smooth and shining under the Port Harcourt sun. His shoulders were broad for his age, his haircut always neat, and his face fresh without even the sign of a beard. Anyone who looked at him would say, "This boy is handsome." But behind his fine looks and strong body, Miracle carried a secret pain that no one around him could see. He was born in Icom, a quiet village in Akwa Ibom State, but his parents moved to Port Harcourt when he was still a small boy. They lived in a simple building at number 20 Anako Street, off Dr. Peter Odilai Road, Transamodi. His father, Mr. Efian, was a hardworking man, respected in the neighborhood for his honesty. But everything changed the day he died suddenly while Miracle was still in JSS 3. His death shook the family like a tree in a storm. From that moment, the weight of survival fell on Miracle's mother, Mrs. Esther. She was a kind and gentle woman who now had to carry the whole family alone. She began selling food at Agri Road in Port Harcourt, hoping that her small business would feed her children. Miracle's two elder siblings were still learning trade at a cocoa market, so they couldn't bring in any money. It was clear that the family's daily bread rested on their mother's tired shoulders. But Miracle was different. Even though he was the youngest, he felt the responsibility pressing heavily on him. Every morning before school, he would follow his mother to the shop. He swept the floor, arranged the chairs and tables, and even served early customers before rushing off to school. By the time he reached Transamodi Secondary School, it was already past 10 o'clock. He usually entered just one period before break. The teachers knew his situation and understood his lateness. Instead of punishing him, they would smile or sometimes tease him, calling him king of lateness. Miracle always laughed it off, but deep down, he wished life was easier. He wanted to be like other students who came early, clean, and free from worry. Things became harder when his uncle, Mr. West, stepped into the picture. Mr. West was his late father's younger brother, about 56 years old, dark in complexion and of average height. He promised to help the family, especially Miracle, with school fees and other expenses. At first, everyone in the family was thankful. They believed he was a blessing in their time of need. But behind his promises, Mr. West had a hidden plan. He began to shower Miracle with gifts, money, clothes, and school supplies. Miracle liked the attention because he truly needed help. But one Sunday morning when Mr. West invited him to his house, Miracle's life took a painful turn. Inside the bedroom, Mr. West began telling him sweet stories and touching him in ways that made Miracle uncomfortable. The young boy trembled and asked in a shaky voice, "Uncle West, what do you want to do?" But Mr. West only smiled and told him to relax. That day, Miracle felt a pain that pierced both his body and his heart. He cried bitterly, begging him to stop, but his uncle only gave him medicine afterwards and pressed gifts into his hands. "Don't tell anyone," Mr. West warned. "Anything you need, I will always provide for you." Miracle left the house broken. He wanted to shout, to tell his mother, to expose his uncle, but then he remembered his school fees. Without his uncle, how would he continue his education? Miracle loved learning, and he wanted to finish school no matter what. So, with heavy reluctance, he kept silent. Whenever he needed money for fees or books, he would return to his uncle, and the cycle continued. Outwardly, Miracle was admired by many. He was one of the strongest footballers in the school, always leading his team to victory. He excelled in outdoor sports, and his classmates often cheered his name during inter-house competitions. But whenever the crowd dispersed, and he was left alone, his mood would sink into deep sadness. His friends could not understand why such a strong, intelligent, and attractive boy was always so moody. It was one of his teachers, Mr. Chris, who noticed more than others. Mr. Chris was a young teacher, gentle and God-fearing, who had a fatherly heart. One afternoon, he called Miracle aside after football practice. "My boy," he said kindly, "why do you always look sad when no one is watching? You are bright, you are talented, yet something is weighing you down. What is it?" Miracle kept quiet at first, afraid of what might happen if he spoke. But the way Mr. Chris looked at him, with compassion instead of judgment, gave him courage. Slowly, Miracle opened up about the secret pain he had been carrying. He told Mr. Chris everything about his uncle, the gifts, the silence, and the shame. As he spoke, tears rolled down his cheeks. Mr. Chris listened without interrupting, though his heart was burning with anger. When Miracle finished, the teacher sighed deeply. "Miracle, you are a brave boy," he said softly. "But you must understand something. This thing you are passing through is not your fault. It is wrong, and one day justice will find your uncle. For now, you must protect your future." He prayed for Miracle, asking God to give him strength and wisdom. Then he gave him advice that lit a small flame of hope in the boy's heart. "Listen," Mr. Chris continued, "you are now in SS3. Focus on your WAC exam. Do your best to pass. After that, don't rush to university immediately. Learn a digital skill first: computers, graphics, programming, anything. That way, you can make money for yourself. Later, when you are stable, you can still go to university. By then, you will be free from this burden and even have the strength to report your uncle if you choose. Miracle nodded slowly. The plan made sense. For the first time in a long while, he felt like there was a way out. That night, lying on a small bed in their house at Anako Street, Miracle thought deeply. He remembered his father's face, his mother's sacrifices, his siblings' struggles at a cocoa market. He also remembered the tears he had shed in silence. Then he whispered to himself. After SS3, I will never go back to Uncle West. I will fight for my future. I will make my mother proud. It was a vow born from pain, but it carried the promise of freedom. Miracle's journey was far from over, but one thing was certain: his secret pain would not last forever.